In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 millionaire habits. Some of this insight cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn. One of these specific strategies, in fact, cost me a lot of money to really understand and learn it. So hopefully if you watch this, you can learn from some of my mistakes so that you can actually start building your wealth faster. My name is Dr. Benjamin Hardy, by the way. I'm an organizational psychologist, and I break down a lot of the science and psychology behind these principles as well. So principle number one is to start investing as soon as possible. And what I mean is get a retirement account and start investing money. Even if that's $100 a month, the sooner you start, something happens in your psychology. There's a concept called self-signaling in psychology. What self-signaling means is that whatever behavior you engage in signals back to you the kind of person you are. So whatever behavior you do signals back the kind of person you think you are, and you judge yourself based on your behavior. And also, all behavior to some degree is addictive. So whatever you do, you want more of. So as an example, if you look at your smartphone and if you scroll through Facebook, you're more likely to want that behavior in the future. If you start investing money, even $100, from a self-signaling standpoint, you're going to start wanting to do more of that. But also, not only does every behavior create more of itself, every behavior creates an expanded version of itself. And so as you begin investing even $100 a month, and the sooner you do this, the better, you're going to want to start investing more, because as you do something, you start wanting it more. And you'll also start finding new ways of doing it as you start focusing on it and finding new ways. Actually, in psychology, there's a second concept I'm going to give you. It's called selective attention. Selective attention means whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on and give attention to, you start getting better at. And so if you start investing $100 a month, not only will you start identifying as someone who does invest, and not only will you start wanting that behavior more, but you'll start focusing on it more. Maybe you'll start measuring it. And as you start measuring it, whatever you measure, you manage. Also, Parkinson's law states that whatever you measure improves, whatever you measure and report improves exponentially. And so by investing a small amount in the beginning, but by making it a consistent practice, and also I would automate it, set it and forget it. And then you can obviously upgrade the amount you set. But by just making that a continuous process, not only will you want it more, not only will you focus on it more, not only will you measure it more, you will then find more and more ways to do it. Because whatever you do and start measuring, you'll start getting more motivated towards. Motivation leads to finding more and more energy and finding better and better resources towards putting towards that goal. So literally, here's what's going to happen. As you start investing money, you're going to get more motivated to start investing more money. That's going to lead you to finding new ways to make money so that you can invest more. Right now, your current level of motivation and your current quality of ability to make money is based on your current level of investment. As you invest more, you expand yourself as a person, you get more motivated, you find new and better ways to make money, you start to increase your income, which then allows you to invest more. So the sooner you start investing, the more you'll eventually be able to invest. And also, the sooner you start investing, the more you'll be able to make money. Your income will raise with your investments because your desire to invest more is going to increase. That takes me now to number two, which is investing money in yourself. As people, we're really good at updating our technology. In fact, if you have an iPhone, you probably get updates on it every single week or month. But how often do you update yourself? How often do you update your mindset? How often do you update your skills and abilities? In psychology, there's a concept called deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is basically the idea that as human beings, we can develop skills and expertise in just about anything. But you need to undergo a process. You need to actually get quality education. You need mentoring. You need training. You need to go through the process of learning, and usually that comes by investing in yourself. When I first decided I wanted to become an author, I made the investment. It was only $150 to buy an online course that taught me how to write viral articles. And so by investing that $150 in myself, and then by going through the educational program, I then learned things that I would not have learned otherwise. Here's what happens when you invest as well. The more you invest in something, the more committed you become to it. In psychology, they call that concept sunk cost bias or escalation of commitment. But financial investment specifically does lead to increased commitment. And during my PhD program, I spent a lot of time studying the difference between wannabe entrepreneurs and real entrepreneurs. And one of the things I found is that real entrepreneurs, those who had actually made the leap, who had built a company and who were successful, they had what I called a point of no return experience. And whereas the wannabe entrepreneurs had not had that point of no return experience. Well, in most cases, the point of no return experience was investing, making a financial investment in the company or in themselves. And so as you begin investing money in yourself, not only do you start to become more committed to yourself, more committed to your dreams, but you start to then put yourself in a position where you can engage in deliberate practice. You start to really get committed in your identity and in your mindset and in your goals, to a point of no return level where you get hyper committed to your goals. And you do need commitment. You need extreme commitment to reach high level goals. There's a great book actually called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And what they say in that book is that commitment is a statement of what is. You can know what you're committed to by the results you get. And so if you look at yourself right now, look at your income, look at your health, look at your situation, whatever you have right now is actually what you're committed to. Your commitment isn't what you want. Your commitment is what you currently have. You're committed to whatever it is you have. And if you changed your commitment, you would have something different. So investing in yourself not only gives you new skills, but it also upgrades your mindset, your identity, your behavior. Actually, there's another really cool concept with this, and this is what I would call peak experiences or subconscious enhancing experiences. So your subconscious has a baseline. Wherever you're at in your baseline behavior is your subconscious. Your subconscious is basically you on autopilot. It's your average. However, your current average autopilot behavior is very different from your former self's average autopilot behavior. And your future self's average autopilot behavior is also different from your current self's. And so if you disrupt your average subconscious behavior by making a massive investment in your future self, by making a huge investment in your skills, or by putting yourself into a new environment, you then disrupt your subconscious. And that's what I would call a subconscious enhancing behavior. It's a subconscious shattering behavior as well, where you can set the new norm, the new expectation, the new belief about what's possible. And eventually, you're upgrading your behavior to the point where that then becomes your new norm. So you do want to have subconscious enhancing behaviors and subconscious enhancing experiences where you put yourself into new environments where you're now having an experience that super stretches you. There's a great quote on that subject from Oliver Wendell Holmes. He said, "A mind stretched by a new experience can never go back to its former dimensions." I actually, a couple of years ago, I started investing in mastermind groups and in coaching programs, specifically Genius Network and Strategic Coach. And I remember the first time I went to a Genius Network meeting, it was one of those peak experiences where I was surrounded by people who were making way more money than me, also just way smarter, way more successful, way more experienced than me. And by being in that environment, it was like a fish out of water. I was able to actually stretch and expand my thinking. I was able to stretch and expand my consciousness. And that elevated myself in so many ways. Over the last few years, I've been able to honestly almost 10x my income simply because I had those kind of peak experiences. And so I heavily invite you, invest in yourself, invest in peak experiences, invest in your education, invest in your future. So the third millionaire habit is literally investing in advisors, mentors, trainers, coaches, whatever. Invest in expert help. Invest in experts. And these people are advisors. They become on your team to help you. So as an example, investing in a financial advisor, investing in a performance coach, investing in a personal trainer, whatever your goal is, you should start investing money in experts and advisors on that subject. And so those experts and advisors can help you make better plans. They can help you to not only make the right plan, but also go through the right process to help you achieve your goal faster. They can also give you tactics, strategies, ideas, solutions that you would never know of. And so if you're not investing in a team around you of experts and advisors, then you're not that serious about your goal. There's a great book actually I wrote on the subject with Dan Sullivan called Who Not How. And the more advanced and elevated your vision becomes, the more you want to get who's involved. Rather than asking yourself, how do I accomplish this? You ask, who can help me get there faster? So if you have the goal of 10xing your income, rather than saying, how do I 10x my income? You say, who can help me 10x my income? Who is the expert, or who is the advisor, or who is someone I could team with that would help me get there much faster? If you start applying who, not how, you'll get where you want to go faster. And one thing I've personally found is that by having advisors and experts around me that are smarter than me, they also care about me, they're invested in me, and we're all on the same team. When I counsel with them, they give me wisdom to help me not make impulsive, stupid decisions. And sometimes I go against their counsel because I'm an autonomous human being. And often I've found that when I do go against their counsel, it's bit me hard. So invest in experts, advisors, mentors, and support around you so that you can actually become amazing at what you do. The more you invest in yourself, the more you invest actually in your future financially, and also the more you invest in experts around you, the more successful you'll become faster. The fourth principle is a little interesting. This one might be a little disruptive, and that's to not save. Don't save, invest your money. People who save are in a kind of state of conservation. The idea of saving is what psychologists would call an avoidance behavior. You're saving to conserve and you're constricting. And often when the environment or the market is tumultuous, people stop investing and they start saving. And that mindset of conserving, of saving, of constricting not only stops your money from flowing, but it also stops your creativity and your courage from flowing. You want to be what psychologists would call approach-oriented. And so you want to continuously be investing, even when things are volatile, even when other people are constricting and shrinking, you want to be expanding and investing. That's actually what Grant Cardone talks about in the 10X rule. He talks about how in his industry, there was a time like around the 2008 market crash where everyone started saving and constricting, and that's when he doubled down. He started investing more and more and more in his future self, in his company. He started hiring, expanding, and when you're in a state of expansion, you have a lot of creativity. Being in action mode, and what Grant Cardone would call 10X action, leads to inspiration, it leads to creativity, it leads to courage, and you want to be in a state of action. You want to be in a state of moving forward. You don't want to be in a state of constriction, and the idea of saving is actually a constrictive way of thinking. And I actually had to learn through my own failures not to hold too much cash, because if you're holding too much cash out of fear, you're going to end up making stupid decisions and being swayed. Instead, you want to have less cash on you than you feel comfortable with, because that ends up becoming a forcing function to find new and motivating pathways to make more cash. But also, by just investing, you're continually showing that you're on offense, not defense. And offense is, in a lot of ways, the best defense. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't have an emergency fund. In fact, I have a nice stack of cash at my house as an emergency fund if I need it, but I'm not saving, I'm investing. I'm actively investing. I'm in expanding mode, not constricting mode. I'm in approach mode, not avoid mode. And so I do have an emergency fund. I recommend you do have an emergency fund, but the idea of saving is a weak mindset versus investing. So don't save, but invest. Invest in your future self, because once you put money into assets, those assets can grow. If you're just saving, your cash is actually devaluing due to inflation over time. Cash is trash. The more cash you hold, the more that cash becomes useless, but it's also just a wasteful mindset. It's a very weak mindset to be saving. So you want to invest, put your money into assets, and grow those assets. Hold way less cash than you feel comfortable, not only because that will motivate you to find new ways of creating cash, but also you don't need it. You're on approach mode. You're on offense mode. Number 5 is obviously that you need to have a goal and your own plan. Now, your goal is going to be different from everyone else's goal. My financial goals are different than your financial goals. My plan is also going to be different in how I achieve that goal. And the reason my plan or my strategy will be different is because I'm not you. I don't have the same mindset as you. I don't have the same skills as you. I don't have the same objectives as you. So just as an example, a lot of people want to go into real estate. One of the reasons why I don't spend as much time in real estate is because I don't want to spend 20 or 30 hours a week learning real estate. Real estate's an amazing strategy for some people based on their situation, their goals, and their skills. For me, because I'm more interested in literally learning psychology and high performance and stuff like that, spending 20 or 30 hours a week learning real estate is not the right strategy for me. It may be the great strategy for you, but the point of number 5 here on this Millionaire Habit is you need your own goals, which you choose for yourself, and your own plan and strategy that works for you. And if you're following your own plan and strategy, you can make massive momentum. But if you're so busy listening and watching what other people are doing, you're going to constantly get derailed. And that's actually what's happened to me before, is when I stopped just running my own race and applying my own strategy, I ended up starting to listen to other people's voices, and that led me to going down paths that ended up costing me lots of money. So you got to choose a goal that suits you and your situation, and also you've got to go with a strategy that you can actually apply. And it's kind of like a diet. Any diet can work if you stick to it. There's a lot of different pathways up the mountain, but you got to pick one that you can focus on, that you can optimize for, and then you got to just ignore all the voices, because there's a lot of opposing agendas, opinions, and ideas about how to get where you want to go, but those opinions and objectives, or those ideas or those strategies, don't take into account your goal, your situation. Just again, as another example, I have 6 kids. And so my goals are based on where I want to go, but also my strategy is based on my situation, on what I can actually give to it. And so other people's strategies or ideas may not be relevant to your situation, to your skill set, to your interests, to your desires. So you got to find a strategy and a plan that works for you, your situation, your family, and for your goals. And the sooner you can stick with that and ignore all the external noises, the less you'll get derailed. The number 6 millionaire habit is that you've got to learn from your mistakes. If you have a mistake, and you will be making mistakes, if you don't learn from that, then that mistake is actually a trauma. A trauma is an experience that you had, which was a negative event, which you coded as a negative event, and which you wish hadn't happened. Post-traumatic growth is the idea that you had a hard experience, but you took that experience and you turned it into lessons, purpose, and meaning. And so you're going to make mistakes. But if you can turn those mistakes or those failures into lessons, and you can learn from those lessons, then you can actually become better and not bitter. You can actually turn your experiences into ways to make more money in the future. A great book on that subject is called Peaks and Valleys by Spencer Johnson. He talks about how we all have peaks, we all have valleys. Often your valleys are self-inflicted through your own mistakes, but rather than being mad at yourself for those mistakes, you turn those mistakes into post-traumatic growth. Dan Sullivan actually has a concept he calls the experience transformer, where you take your experiences and you literally transform them into learning, into growth. And if you can take any experience and learn from it, then you're actually gaining a lot from your experiences, whereas a lot of people, they have a lot of experience but no learning. You always want your learning to be greater than your experience, and if you have hard, painful experiences, those can be translated into some of the most deep, powerful learning. And again, back to Spencer Johnson in Peaks and Valleys, he said, if you can truly learn from your valleys, from your mistakes, then you can take those to create much bigger peaks in your future. So when you make mistakes, transform those into learning as fast as possible so that you're literally grateful for them, and be grateful for your mistakes. Be grateful for your blunders. Seth Godin actually said that if I fail more than you, I win. And that's because he has the mindset of learning from his failures, taking those as feedback and lessons, not as him being stupid, but him being aggressive. If you're aggressive and if you're approach-oriented, you're going to make some mistakes. But if you're quickly translating all of those into learning, then you become what Nassim Taleb would call anti-fragile. You get hit, but you actually get stronger and stronger and stronger. Psychologists would call that becoming psychologically flexible. And so you're not stuck in the trauma of mistakes, but instead you're getting post-traumatic growth. You're getting new lessons, new ideas, new learning, and you're transferring that into bigger and bigger peaks into your future. So take every experience you have and turn it into learning or into massive gains. Number 7 is a super fun one, and that's the idea of having specific measurable targets which are big, which are massive, which are stretching, and have very compelling and exciting rewards at the end of those targets. You want to give yourself exciting, compelling rewards which increase your motivation and help you find new pathways and increase your motivation to hitting your target faster. So give yourself specific targets and get yourself powerful, exciting rewards once you hit those targets. Psychologists have found that high, hard goals are more motivating than low goals, but also there's a lot of research that shows that celebration, B.J. Fogg at Stanford said that celebration really deepens your motivation, it deepens your habits. And so if you set huge targets and get yourself some exciting rewards, have it be a reward that's very motivating to you. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It's not about getting status. It's not about improving. It's not about proving yourself to anyone. It's literally for your own excitement, your own motivation. Set some huge targets and have really personally motivating rewards at the end of those. I actually am applying this right now. I've got a pretty awesome target that I'm looking to hit sometime in the next 6 months. And once I hit that target, I'm actually going to get myself a new car, a car that I'm excited about. And I'm actually going to get a used version of it, but I'm not going to be extravagant. One of the things that people mistake is when they increase their income, they also increase their lifestyle. I'm not getting this for a status symbol. I'm doing this as a symbol to myself and as a motivator for my own excitement. So give yourself rewards for hitting exciting milestones. And those rewards will motivate you so much that they'll increase your motivation, will help you find new ways of hitting the goal faster. Now, millionaire habit number 8 is simply to never stop learning. A lot of people, a lot of CEOs, a lot of highly successful people read a single book a week, 50 plus books a year. I've been reading 50 plus books a year for the last 10 years. It's not really about the number of books you read, though. It's about the depth of your learning. If you're always learning, if you're journaling, if you're integrating your learning, and if you're always upgrading your view of your future self, then you're always going to be improving yourself. You're always getting updates in your smartphone. And your future self is a different version than you. Your future self has skills, capabilities, knowledge that you don't have. And so if you're constantly learning, you're only setting your future self up for more and more success. So never stop learning, never stop reading, never stop playing your own game. Another thing I would recommend when it comes to learning is deep learning rather than shallow learning. There's actually a great book called Deep Work by Cal Newport, but you're better off reading one book, a really good book, 5 or 10 times than reading 10 books at the surface level. So actually study, learn, apply, and transform your thinking and apply that thinking. Hope that helps. These habits absolutely will make you a millionaire. I've applied these and they've led me to having well over $1 million net worth. Multiple million net worth. And so my name is Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Please like this video if it helped. Please subscribe to this channel. Also down below you can get free access to my full 30-day Future Self course. It's free. It'll give you all the science on how to help you imagine, become, and create your desired future self. Have an amazing day.